YouTube. I hope you all are having a blessed day. I am here with a double haul. I have two sketch boxes sitting here that I have not opened yet. So let me turn the camera around and we will get into it. Here we go. This one is from March. It has the date of March 23rd on it. I don't know what's in this one. This somehow got stuck in cardboard boxes that were going to the dump, and my husband found it. Oh, we got a lid to something here. Oh, got a fun sticker to add to my collection. And let's see, we have pen. These are really nice. What are they? Ink color violet 1mm ball. Oh, these are Pentel matte hop. Okay, very nice. So we have a beautiful like Payne's gray here, and a violet and a green and a pink. Uniball Signo white. Those are always valuable. And this is a nice little pen. It is a 5, and we have, ooh, this is fun, Faber-Castell Pit Artist Pen dual marker, and it has a brush nib and it has a fine tip that is 0.8, and this is a lovely paper clip ruler. This is really nice. I like that. That I will use. And we have some Stonehenge craft paper. So that's lovely. And we have a lovely pen case. That is beautiful. Thank you, Sketchbox. How lovely. And it has the logo on it too. So that's lots of fun. So that's a fun way to store everything. Don't know, the ruler will not fit, but these pens will definitely fit. And I've been getting quite a growing collection of pencils and pens that have come from previous boxes, so that's nice. I'll keep them in here. And I really do like this. And I've been slowly expanding my SCOTUS boards here, which is a IKEA thing. It's their answer to pegboard, and it's lots of fun. And we have all sorts of things that we're printing out for it to store and organize all my things. But this is very nice. I do like this, and I will use it a lot. And this is the pen sketching premium kit. And I don't do much with sketching because I can't draw that well. So that's very, very nice. I like that. This is supposed to be the watercolor box. And we have another fun sticker here. This is supposed to be showing you how to make your own watercolor paints. And this is watercolor paper, some little pouring tins, and there's a fun little palette box here. Isn't that beautiful? Holds 12 half pan, has a nice ceramic mixing space. That's very, very nice. And of course we have a lovely Sketchbox signature pen, and this is a flat 1/4 inch stroke. So that's very nice. I'll add that to my collection. And this is just a little spoon to take your pigments out. I will pull out my mulling plate to make some real watercolor, and we'll have some fun with that. I've already made several, and I have recipes, and I got a digital scale, and I've been having a lot of fun with making my own. Now I know I love my deep light paints, but it's fun to make your own too. So let me get set up and I will come back. I have a book here that I started with my recipes, and I have made swatches, and today I thought we would make this one, which I am calling Reuben. I am naming all of my handmade watercolors based on the names of stones in the Bible. So these are all holy stones. They can be found on the high priest's chest plates, but this one I've called Reuben, and it is a combination of PR83, which is alizarin crimson, and PB72 cobalt zinc blue, and it's a 50-50 mix. And I print these out on my 3D printer, these half pans and full pans, and this is the grinder that you use to grind. And I have a digital scale here. Yeah, it doesn't even tell you what this is. Let's see if it's on here. Okay, Smitten Lemon Thistle This is thistle, but I'm not sure I'm going to use those. We will leave it. I have some clove oil. I have watercolor medium that's already made. It doesn't have the clove oil in it though. And clove oil or rosemary oil is used as a preservative. Now this is just liquid gum arabic, and I don't know if it has anything else in it, but this has gum arabic and it has glycerin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to tear it. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. 20, 41, 49, 50. So I'm going to be making a very small amount. $97. There we go. So that's 50 grams of each. And I have some mica that I can add to it if we care to do that. Get out a pipette. And you don't want a massive puddle. And I'm going to take this and just start working it in. Oh, look at that little ball. Isn't that cute? Just try and work it in a wee bit. I think that's so funny, those little balls. And now you just take the grinder and you work on it. Don't slam it down because you'll get pigment that goes all over your studio. And we can add, I actually think I'm going to double this up because that does not look like much. When I was doing my testing, I was doing it like 10 grams at a time, or a tenth of a gram at a time. This was half a gram, and you don't need a lot of this. Like 2 drops is all you need of the clove oil. And the rosemary or the clove oil acts as a preservative. It is an antibacterial and a antimicrobial. So it won't grow fungus or bacteria. And it smells good. So yes, I'm going to add more because that is not a lot. Okay, it's a little over 50, but that's okay. So that's 0.5 of a gram. Very little. Turn that off. There we go. And you don't want a soupy mess, but you don't want it to be like apple crumble or blueberry crumble. And this is a small sheet of glass that I'm using. I'm not doing this production level. So I'm going to take this and scrape it off. Waste not, want not. So about a gram of each pigment will fill a half pan. A full pan is usually 2.5 grams. And you can put a little liquid on here if you want to mix it up some more and make it a little bit soupier. And what I've seen people do is I've seen them put this, make it very liquid, and then put it in like a piping bag for icing. Squeeze it into the pans. But I'm not making that much. But this is a lot of fun, and you really learn about the pigments that make your paints, and you learn how to combine them. Now, when I was combining them by weight, not by volume. And there was much more alizarin crimson in the mix than the cobalt. So that tells you that the cobalt is heavier than the alizarin crimson. And I just scrape it in. I'm not trying to be fancy or anything here. Slapping it into a pan. So this has to go get washed off, and then I will come back and we'll try this out. And now we're going to try this out. We might as well use some of their paper. This is 100% cotton, cold press, 300 GSM. This is overflowing. Add some extra water. And these are all granulating, so I'm going to add extra water to let the magic happen. I can already see it separating. So I will come back when this is dry and we can continue. You can already see it granulating and it's color separating. And it smells like Christmas. Alrighty, these are pretty near dry. I did a light wash and you can see some granulation in it. And on the darker, more vivid, you can definitely see granulation. And I wasn't sure how this paper was working, this Sketchbox paper. So I put it on some Bauhong and they just don't seem to have very much granulation. Sometimes they can explode like this, and other times it's hard to see the granulation. But this was not supposed to be about making granulating watercolors. This was supposed to be about making handmade watercolors. I am wondering if we should try mixing some of this stuff up and see what it does. This stuff, I don't think that they're expecting to need grinding or mulling. I think they want you to just mix it up and paint with it. So my thought is this may not be actual pigment. It may be a synthetic dye, powderized dye, and that you shouldn't need to mull. This is probably dye. So let's see if we mix some up in this little bowl here. I will use my own watercolor medium and we'll see what we get. Now it does look a little gritty, so it may have benefited from mulling. If you don't have a muller, you might be able to use like the back of a spoon or something, or one of your palette knives. You know, you get in there and you kind of mash it about. So let's see what this looks like. I'll wet it down. Yeah, this is dye. You can tell because the pink is just kind of exploding out of it. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's got bits of color exploding. This is definitely not your normal. This is like more like brusho color crystals. And it looks very dark blue on the paper, but it looks violet here. And I don't know if this is going to granulate. It probably won't. That's a very vivid color. This is called Smitten. All right, this has dried with a little assistance from my blow dryer, and it's not granulating, and I didn't think it would, but you know, I got a little excited when I saw the pattern of the watercolor paper in there. So I will put this, and now you'd leave this sit for a few days, a day or so, and chances are it will shrink down considerably, and then you would continue to fill it until the pan is full. You normally don't pour in one go and that's the end of it. So it's going to dry and it's going to have air bubbles in it. So you do this to get the air bubbles out. You can fill multiple pans at the same time, you know, a quarter of the way each, and you can always mix it up and continue to fill the pans until your heart's content. So I'll put that over there. What I will do is I get all of my pigment from a company out in California, and I will see if they will give me a discount code for you all. I'll keep putting that discount link in the video descriptions, so keep looking in my video descriptions and see if it's there. And if you'd like to try this yourself, they have everything you need. Basically, you need a medium, and you can go the more traditional route of mixing powdered gum arabic into water and letting it sit for a few days, and keep adding water and stirring until it's a consistency that you like, which I would say is probably like maple syrup. Or you can buy the ready-made stuff. It's not expensive at all, and you can start off with small containers of pigments and try it yourself. Get yourself some clove oil and add 1 drop to a batch and give it a try. It can be lots and lots of fun. If you are a mad scientist, you will absolutely love this. So if you would like to see me make more handmade watercolors, let me know in the comments down below, and I will do a video dedicated just to playing with pigments and making our own homemade watercolors. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, and I hope you'll give this a try. And don't be afraid to try and make your own watercolors. It can be so invigorating, and it's amazing. When you think that you took a powder and mixed in some gum arabic and now you can paint with it, it gives you a different, I have goosebumps. It gives you a different perspective on being an artist, and you can play with any number of pigments. I have plant pigments, I have mineral pigments, I have all sorts of them. But if you enjoy really getting into watercolor and trying to design your own, give this a try. It's lots of fun. So I will see you right back here at 70 Acre Studio next time with our next video real soon. I love you all. God bless.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. You are fair.